Thanks so much, guys. I am so glad to be back in the anchor chair, bringing you all the hard hitting dental news of the day. So, we'll start with a few light things and then we'll get to what I think is probably the most significant piece of dental news for this evening. Do you see how I'm learning how to build the story, take you to the end, drive you all the way through this very long dialogue so that you won't leave both the live show and the podcast? I'm learning. So first off, Aetna Insurance Company has the highest patient satisfaction rate. They do an annual study amongst many of the dental insurance companies, reaching out to the consumers to find out who likes their insurance plans, gets the type of benefits that they're looking for, gets their questions answered when they pick up the phone. And consumers consistently have ranked Aetna at the top of their list. So for all you other insurance companies out there, maybe take a page from Aetna. A Michigan man is facing some pretty significant murder charges. This is such a bizarre story. So I'm going to try to tell you how this went down. So there's a man that's practicing dentistry. You know, I love these illegal guys practicing dentistry, women, men, whoever, practicing dentistry in the US. So there's this male dentist practicing dentistry illegally in the basement of his home. He does a root canal on a patient. Patient came in. Can you call him a patient if you're not even a legal dentist? I don't know. Anyway, he did a root canal on a gentleman. It didn't go well. Gentleman is still in pretty significant pain. He's complaining that, he's still in pain. The dentist, quote, dentist asked him to come back to the office after midnight on July 6th, only to be shot to death, according to the story. This is such a bizarre turn of events. Like, I'm used to the stories with the illegal dentist practicing in the Hampton Inn, or the illegal dentist practicing in the basement, performing procedures, and then maybe there's a complication, they end up in the ER or whatever. But this is a first of now a murder trial for a patient who complained of pain postoperatively from a root canal, and the individual allegedly shot him. So just stew on that for a bit. Another interesting story that came out this week was an acceptance rate statistic. So we all know consistently that dental school ranks high in the professional schools that are very difficult to get in. And I will say it's always been my understanding it's been around 10 to 15% of those who apply to dental school would be able to get in. So that's a pretty low statistic overall. But if you're listening to this program and you want more, you want to increase your chance of getting into a program, here are the top 5 schools with the highest acceptance rates. Now, I have no idea what these statistics are based on, if they're in in-state status versus out-of-state status or anything. So you're going to have to do your homework beyond just this data point. At number 5, University of Missouri, Kansas City, acceptance rate at 12.8%. Ohio State University comes in at number 4 at 12.55%. A.T. Still University, Arizona School of Dentistry is an acceptance rate of 13%. East Carolina University in my home state is at an acceptance rate of 15.8%. And the number one acceptance rate out there in the dental school universe is the University of Mississippi Medical Center at a 29.4% acceptance rate. Stew on that. Take that in, digest it. The last piece of information, which I think is the most important, particularly for all of us in the trenches every day. We've been talking a lot about the enhanced CDT code project that's been going on out of the ADA. And just as a quick refresher for our new listeners and for those who weren't familiar with the project, there was a pretty significant undertaking happening at the ADA to modify the way that we look at CDT codes. They were going to add a lot of modifiers, and like, let's say, for instance, to help you understand this, you did a crown. You might, if you were going to move into this new enhanced CDT coding process, you might have to indicate when you submit your claim what type of material you use for the crown, not just porcelain versus metal, but was it lithium disilicate? Was it zirconia, etc.? You might have to indicate, was it in lab fabricated? Was it a milled restoration? Was it a 3D printed restoration? Did you use a digital scanner? All of these different modifiers were going to have to be attached to the different claims. Well, interestingly, based on a lot of the public opinion that they received, they had many open forums. To their credit, they really did open up the dialogue to both their members and all practicing dentists in the US to get feedback on moving in this direction to get additional information. And for the time being, they're going to cease that part of the enhanced CDT project. So they're no longer going to be looking to add modifiers and other additional pieces of information for claim submission for dental procedures. They are going to continue to look at making the CDT code book more robust, to include a bigger subset of procedures and nuances in the things that we experience on a daily basis. But they have, at least for the time being, decided to stall the addition of modifiers to the CDT code. I thought that was a super interesting development, definitely worth knowing for this week in July. And with that, that's the news.